In February 2007, media commentators and healthcare professionals weren't holding out much hope of a Britney Spears revival.
Britney Spears' prognosis, unless she gets the right kind of treatment, is dire. Her situation is most likely going to escalate. You know, she cut off her hair, she got a tattoo. Well, you know, they're forms of mutilation. Some people carry it further and they actually cut themselves.
8 months later, custody of her two sons, Sean Preston and Jaden James, was being handed to her ex-husband, Kevin Federline, after she was ordered to undergo random tests for drugs and alcohol. Britney's spectacular rate of self-combustion was documented in an exhibition in LA. Just 2 years earlier, it had been reports of K-Fed's hard-partying ways that had made the headlines.
Kevin loves to go out and party. He'll hang out with his friends till all hours. He'll bring people back to the house. And he has been spotted frequently hanging out with strippers and girls at clubs.
Cast in the role of love rat and leaving Britney holding the baby, fans were very vocal in insisting she dump the ex-backup dancer of a parasite who was frittering away her fortune. But by February of 2006, after giving birth to her first baby, Sean Preston, she'd begun compiling her own impressive catalogue of gaffes and bungles. 2 months after driving with Sean Preston in her lap, there were reports that he had fallen out of a high chair and cracked his skull. Not long after that, she was snapped almost dropping him as she emerged from the Ritz-Carlton with a drink in one hand. Amid rumours that her marriage to K-Fed was all but over, she announced she was pregnant again. Then came the dyed black hair, the pregnant nude photo, and shots of her pigging out on snacks and chocolate. By the time Jaden James came along in September, Britney's grip on reality looked shaky to say the least. 2 months later, she filed for divorce from Kevin, and the unravelling began in earnest.
And who knows what Britney's are? Could be something from her childhood, could be some kind of issue that she's currently involved with that she can't stand, and she uses drugs to cope with it.
Hitting the LA party circuit with Paris Hilton, photos of her in various stages of undress and intoxication became staple front-page fare for gossip mags. She was voted worst celebrity role model in a news poll, and she topped the year off by collapsing at Pure nightclub on New Year's Eve. It appeared that Britney's only source of control came from a bottle. And at the launch of her third fragrance, In Control, the wild-eyed former teen queen from Louisiana looked anything but.
In Control, my latest fragrance, which I absolutely love, is just out in department stores like Macy's everywhere now.
In February 2007, after spending less than 24 hours in rehab, she embarked on the high-speed extreme makeover that proved to all and sundry that she'd totally lost the plot. After a California hairdresser refused to shave her head, Britney grabbed hold of the clippers and performed her own buzz cut, before dashing round to the local tattoo parlour for some needlework. Over the next few months, she added a charge of a hit-and-run misdemeanour to her troubles and was snapped attacking a paparazzo with a brolly. Upon losing the kids to Kevin in October, some commentators were reading the last rites.
Losing your kids, and also in a very public way, is traumatic for anybody. And for a mother, I can't even understand how it would feel, because there's a whole different bond there than being a father. My hope is, and from people I've talked to, she's very fragile emotionally. I hope this doesn't send her over the edge.
While her attorney was being paid to give a more positive spin.
I believe that removing custody from Ms. Spears is the shock treatment that Britney Spears needs.
Incredibly, however, she still had further to fall. Her love-hate relationship with the press had yet to spawn a bizarre interlude with a paparazzo named Adnan. And in January 2008, she had to be carted away to hospital for psychiatric evaluation before her father, Jamie, finally stepped in to pick up the pieces. Along with a sobriety coach, he shielded her from former manager Sam Lufty and mounted a gargantuan effort to get Britney back on her feet. Miraculously, by September, she'd won Video of the Year for her single Piece of Me and had announced the release date of her 6th studio album, Circus, and its lead single, Womanizer, which jumped straight to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. She solidified the comeback with a second consecutive #1 single and a #1 album. She looked in great shape as she posed for the cover of Rolling Stone magazine, and her exclusive interview with OK magazine gave more convincing evidence that Britney was back.
When we sat down with Britney just a couple of days ago, she was alert, she was smiling, she was genuinely happy, she was very, very willing to answer any questions. We were actually at her house for over 3 hours just for the interview. We saw a side of Britney Spears that was a complete transformation from the Britney Spears we saw less than a year ago.